the bridge for State Road 780, the river flows fast. A large branch is lodged against a bridge support. The water dammed behind it hardly moves. Lou swims there to rest. Branches from a swamp maple overhang the river. Above her, a man and a woman watch a swallow-tail kite soar above Tatum Sawgrass Marsh. The man swings his arm in a wide arc.
Imagine all the water it took to fill the marsh. It's a lake now. I'm guessing that the water covers the boardwalk at Crowley Museum and Nature Center.
The woman says,
Years ago, they drained this marsh and planted all kinds of non-native grass for cattle.
I bet it didn't look like this back then.
The man says. They both laugh.
When we canoed there, we saw those grasses growing like a wall along some places. Except for there, it looked like a scenic river. Now it looks wild.
The woman says.
Maybe that's why they call it a wild and scenic river.
The man says. The woman asks.
What does that mean?
The man says.
The U.S. and Florida legislators chose the name to tell everybody that a river is special. There are only 3 wild and scenic rivers in Florida, but only the Myakka got this designation from the state.
Lou sees a tree frog as green as a leaf. She eats it. The woman asks,
What does it need to be protected from?
Houses built near the river.
The man answers.
Houses don't hurt the river.
The woman says.
Clearing the land to build them does. Rain can wash sand into the river, drilling wells, burying septic tanks, making seawalls and docks. It all damages the river. Even drips of oil from roads can wash into the river.
Lou sees a peninsula cooter. She dives below, circles, and grabs the turtle.
But look at this flood.
The woman points to the river on both sides of the bridge.
It's doing more to harm the river than building a few houses.
The man says.
Having more water in the river doesn't harm it. The river is alive, so the water can be high or low or even change its banks. It's what people do or don't do besides the river that can hurt it.
Lou paddles back into the current. I'm Carol Mahler, author of Adventures in the Charlotte Harbor Watershed. Today, I'm at the television studios of the School District of Lee County, and with me is Toni Westland.
Hi, I'm Toni Westland, Supervisory Refuge Ranger out at the J.N. Ding Darling National Wildlife Refuge out on Sanibel Island.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
And you're going to read part of the book for us.
I am. I'm going to read the section Myakka Island, written by you. Islands are surrounded by water, but Myakka Island is not really an island. It is filled with water that drains into the Myakka River. The land in this watershed that is natural is called Myakka Island. The state of Florida, Sarasota County own or manage some of Myakka Island. People who own large areas of native land have given or sold conservation easements to protect the land and keep it natural. Around Myakka Island, people are building homes, roads, schools, and businesses, so it has become an island in a sea of change.
Thanks for reading that.
Yes.
Let's talk some more about that conservation easement. So how does that work exactly?
Right, so a conservation easement is a tool that can be used by organizations like myself and private landowners, where private landowners can give over their land to other organizations to set it aside for conservation. In many cases, they're still allowed to do things like ranching and other things and still use their land, but it's set aside for wildlife and it won't be developed.
Okay, so and this set of land is called Myakka Island because it's centered around Myakka State Park. That's sort of the middle of it. And then all the other lands are around it and form that sort of island of conservation lands. Let's talk about that word conservation. It comes from that root conserve, that means to save, and they used to call jams and jellies conserves. So.
Exactly. So, you know, go out and talk to kids about what conservation means, and they sometimes they don't get what conservation is, and when you put it in the aspect of conserving or setting aside something like your allowance, they understand what it means. But yes, to save the land, the resources, the wildlife, and how it all links together. And then, of course, we should all be conservationists.
Well, thanks for talking with me today. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
At the end of Upper Myakka Lake, Lou finds a weir, a concrete wall against the lower end of the lake. When the river is low, the weir holds water in the lake. When the river is high, water flows over it. The sides slope and are worn smooth from 70 years of the river washing over it. For Lou, it forms a perfect slide. She climbs to the top of one end and, on her belly, she glides into the water. Her sleek body makes no splash. The Civilian Conservation Corps built the weir to keep the lake from drying up and help control flooding. But the weir caused other changes in the river. As plants drifted down the river, the weir kept them in the lake. They fell to the bottom and rotted, and the once sandy lake bottom turned to muck. The lake started to die. A few years ago, culverts were added, so now water always flows on either side of the weir. It keeps the lake alive. Common grackles crowd a water oak. Their iridescent plumage sparkles as they chirp, flutter, and change places. They seem as busy and noisy as a group of children. Suddenly, they rise into the air. They swoop over Lou playing in the water. She stops to watch them. The grackles scatter for a moment and then gather. They circle and settle again in the tree. Lou watches a great blue heron standing like a statue in the shallows. When it sees a fish, it spears it. Tipping its beak up, it tosses and catches the fish head first, so it is easier to swallow. To Lou, this looks like a game. She spies a golden shiner, dives, and catches it in her mouth. Crawling up the shore, she flips her head up and opens her mouth. The fish flies into the air, and she catches it. She does it again and again. An osprey swoops above, hoping to steal the fish, but Lou quickly eats it and then swims downstream. Hi, I'm Carol Mahler, author of Adventures in the Charlotte Harbor Watershed. Today, I'm at the television studios of the school district of Lee County. And with me today is Rick Tully.
Hi, I'm with the Environmental Education Program of the School District of Lee County, and today I'd like to read some words written by Curtis Porterfield of the Polk County Natural Resources Division. He wrote about surface water. Surface water is the water that can be seen on top of the land. Examples are rivers, streams, lakes, estuaries, and oceans. When it heats up, surface water evaporates and rises in the air to form clouds. Clouds release rain that replaces the surface water lost by evaporation. This is part of what is called the water cycle, and it helps to keep surface water from disappearing. Many plants and animals use surface water as both a home and a drinking water source. It is also a very important source of drinking water for people.
Thanks for reading that, Rick. And what Mr. Porterfield wrote about sounds very much like something that the children learn about in school called the water cycle.
Yes, the water cycle is often called the hydrologic cycle. Hydro being water, and cycle referring to the fact that this water is always in movement. It's evaporating from the surface of the ocean or from the surface of the land, traveling into the air, condensing into clouds, precipitating as rain in South Florida, and then collecting in rivers and streams and flowing back to the ocean. It's all part of a continuous cycle that purifies the water in the evaporation section, returns it to where it's needed, and flows it back to the ocean to begin the cycle again.
Wow. Now, many children have retention ponds or other surface water right near their schools or homes.
Yes, those retention ponds near schools, in commercial sites, businesses, industries, any place where there's a large roof area or a large pavement area, these roofs and these pavements don't soak up water. They shed water very quickly. If all of those areas dump their water after a rainfall into a river all at the same time, that river could flood, would have too much water in too short a period of time. The retention ponds are designed to hold that water, to slow its release, to let it soak back into the soil, and then let it return to the rivers and streams slowly.
Well, and what can children do if they have a retention pond at their school? Will they see what's going on?
They'll see it fill up after a rain. They'll see the surface slowly drop down, and they'll see it dry up in the dry periods.
And that's all part of the natural cycle.
All part of the cycle, exactly.
Thanks for talking with me today. I really enjoyed it.
It's been a pleasure.
Flooding has closed Myakka River State Park. The river is full of floating water hyacinths and hydrilla. Lou can't swim through the plants piled up beneath the State Road 72 bridge. She climbs the bank and scampers across the road. Before a car drives by, she dives into the river. The land south of the highway is Myakka River State Park Wilderness Preserve. People must have a permit to explore any part of these 7,600 acres, but not Lou. She swims in and out of tree branches and trunks that used to stand and hang over the water. When she leaps over one, she looks as graceful as a dolphin. Leaves, sticks, and many other things float in the river. Where the water is too murky, Lou's whiskers find the way. When they brush a crayfish, she catches and crunches it. She climbs onto a large oak limb. Resurrection ferns grow like fur along it. Spanish moss dangles above, and a tree frog hangs in it. Its tongue snaps a mosquito. Lou lunges for the frog, but it jumps into the water. Then a water snake strikes from beneath the branch and swallows the frog. What seems to be a log veers at the snake, but Lou sees an alligator. She turns. On a branch beyond her is a limpkin. It dips its beak into a groove of the oak's bark, plucks out an apple snail, and eats it. Above, a butterfly orchid grows on the bark of the oak. Lou dives into the river. It soon widens into Lower Myakka Lake. At the southern end of the lake, she feels the bottom drop away. She is swimming above a natural sinkhole, now filled with water. It is called Deep Hole. When the river is low, the lake dries up except here. Deep Hole is home for the alligators. Hi, I'm Carol Mahler, author of Adventures in the Charlotte Harbor Watershed. Today, I'm in the television studios of the School District of Lee County, and with me today is Melissa Nell Cain.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Melissa.
Thanks for having me back. Well, today I am going to read from Carol's book, and I'm going to read a contribution by Curtis Porterfield from Polk County Natural Resources Division about land stewardship. Land stewardship means caring for the land we live around. This can be done in many ways. One way is to keep our cities and towns clean and free of pollutants. Another way is being responsible with chemicals such as pesticides and fertilizers that can harm natural resources. A third way is to preserve and protect natural land and the plants and animals that live there. Properly caring for the land helps to keep surface and groundwater clean because any harmful substances placed on the land will be washed into surface and groundwater by the rain.
Thanks for reading that, Melissa. Now let's talk about that word stewardship. It's kind of a funny word, not very often used, and it comes from the word steward.
Right. So can any of you in class today think about where you might have heard that word? Anybody? Well, you might have heard of a flight attendant on an airplane. they used to be called stewards and stewardesses. And it makes sense if you think of a steward as being someone who takes care of someone or something. Think about flight attendants on an airplane. They're going to take care of the people there. So land stewards are going to take care of the land.
Now, this sounds like such a huge thing to do. It seems impossible for one single person to be able to do this. So could you just give us a couple of ideas that we could do as individuals to take care of the land?
Absolutely. I am a land stewardship. It's actually my job. Part of my job is going out and taking care of the land. And one of the things I love to do is to get people just like you and you guys out there involved to help out too. It is a big job, and we need all the help we can get. So there are a couple of things you can do. Today, when you leave class, I'm going to challenge you to go out and pick up 2 pieces of trash. You get bonus points if you do even more. You also, when you brush your teeth tonight, make sure that you turn the water off as you're brushing your teeth. Believe it or not, that will save quite a bit of water. So if you pick up trash, you're helping to clean the environment. If you turn the water off while you brush your teeth, you're going to help save water. And another thing you can do, and this may seem simple, but when you leave the room, turn the light off. Because every time we go ahead and turn off those lights, it helps to save energy. And all of that makes a huge impact on our environment.
Well, those simple steps make it seem easy, like anybody could participate in land stewardship.
They really can. Sometimes we have people say to us, I really want to help out, but I don't want to go out into the preserves and pull out exotics or cut new trails to let people go through. And we say that's okay, because there's a lot of stuff you can do in your own backyard and in your own homes to help out.
Thanks, Melissa. Thanks for talking with me today. I've really enjoyed it.
No, oh, it's been my pleasure. No problem. I'll see you guys next time.
For free classroom materials, please visit our website at www.chnep.org.